good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, good day, or it could be night. Hi. It's 9 a.m. currently for me, and I had this urge to clean. And those cleaning urges do not come across frequently in my brain. I tend to just do like little sputters here and there, but I'm feeling the need to get into it today. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I know for myself, one of my favorite things in the world is to put a comfort video on in the background. Someone I used to watch all the time was Zoe Sugg, and a big part of her content would be her cleaning up a room and time lapses and her just doing stuff, and I loved those. And it wasn't until later in life that I realized the reason I loved those is because they're body doubling videos. It's a way for me to feel as though I am soaking in the productivity of somebody else and being entertained and getting dopamine while also cleaning and getting dopamine from that. So I understand now that that's why I enjoyed it. So I'm hoping to provide that to you today. So we are body doubling together. I am going to tidy up my entire place and just kind of film myself doing so. And maybe we chit chat along the way. Who knows? Haley's got a lot of thoughts in here that need to get out. Probably to a therapist, but you're next best, so congrats. As we get started cleaning, I want to talk to you about therapy because I have been going to some sort of therapist since I was 4 years old. I was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder at 4. I was having sleep paralysis, not sleep paralysis, what was it? I was having night terrors. And I would get so anxious about everything. If we need to go anywhere, I was super anxious. If I was stuck in the car, I was super anxious. I now understand that those were just autistic traits showing up, and no one really understood or knew what those were. And it was ADHD. And the combination of that, everyone was like, it's just anxiety. So that was fun. But I used to go to these classes when I was young for I think we learned how to catch our dragons being the bad feelings. Love that. But I continued on with therapy here and there throughout my life. I started going more seriously when I was 15 or 16 because your girl was depressed. Happens to the best of us. I'm sorry, I'm so burpy this morning. I don't know how to stop it. Yeah, I kept going to therapy, and I was a big lover of therapy. I told everyone that it was wonderful and great and the best thing ever. And I did learn a lot about myself, but I always kind of felt there was this barrier with therapy for so long until I found my current therapist, who is specifically for autistic adults. And oh my God, it's so crazy when you talk to somebody that understands you and you just get it. I don't have to explain certain things. She just understands. And she understands me better than I understand myself. And so she's able to explain where I'm coming from so that my brain can have the connection of oh, I'm not just doing this for attention. I'm doing it because I have a disorder and it causes challenges. Crazy, isn't it? So anyways, therapy's been so good. I have been single now for a month and a half or so, and it's been really good for me to have consistent therapy to figure out and talk about how I want to build a life of my own. Because I think for a long time I was very codependent and had this belief that I had to be with somebody. And this is the first time in my life that I'm I can totally be alone. I do not need a partner. I feel so filled up by my female friendships right now. I'm losing my mind. I could talk all day about all of the women in my life. It's unbelievable. I've got a lot of new friends that I'm building and creating strong relationships with them. And it's a wonderful feeling. And I will say, if you are a person that's how the fuck are you making friendships, Haley? Because I asked that question many times as well. One, I think the biggest thing I did was unmasking, was learning how to 100% be myself, because it wasn't the fact that I didn't know how to make friendships, but it was that I knew how to make friendships as a fake version of myself for like years and years and years. And so when I finally unmasked, I was using everything I knew about how to make friends, but as myself. And so I was attracting people like me, and they're fucking weirdos and I love them. So when people ask me like, how do you make friends? I always tell them like, you've got a long journey. And step one is you, like start to learn who you are, unmask, become comfortable with yourself, and then put yourself out there. They're not gonna just like walk into your house and be like, we're best friends now. Like you need to put yourself out there to find them. And that can be scary and hard. I have a whole video about it, so there's that. But yeah, therapy has been great. I've been talking a lot about my sexuality as well because I identify as queer. I've only ever dated one woman. I've been with other women, but like I've never been in like a long-term serious relationship with a woman. And yeah, and so I was talking a lot about it because I'm like, why is that? Because I've always been more attracted to women. As a kid, I was like more attracted to women too. And so we've been deconstructing my beliefs around like femininity and masculinity and like what I'm actually attracted to. And here's what I learned, okay? Breakthrough moment for Haley was I realized that I was associating the things that I was interested in as masculine features, as in only a man could provide those things, which was wrong. The things that I was like, I deeply look for in a partner is someone that is like action oriented, someone that takes action. They're the type of person that like, if they get a chip in their windshield, that shit is fixed like ASAP. They're not somebody that just sits on it and like waits for something to hopefully change, which is me. I do that sometimes. But they're also the person that like, if I text them and I'm like, I have had a hard fucking day, it's been tough, they're the type of person that's like, dinner is made for you, or I have ran a bath for you, or I have thought about you in this way and I've done this thing to make your life easier. That's my love language, baby. And I thought that that was masculine. I thought that was only like something a man could provide. Patriarchy, truly. Which is like just wild and weird. So yeah, deconstructing this idea of like the type of person that can fulfill those needs, because I love the idea of having a girlfriend. So if you're single and interested, DM me because I'm lonely. I recently was reflecting on dating and like when I wanted to try that again, because I'm currently not dating at all and it feels great. No dating apps, no like actively seeking it out, and that feels really nice. I have a trip planned for late summer, and my goal is to go do that trip, and then when I come back to reevaluate and see if then is a good time to start dating, because right now I just don't even want to really think about it. I'm putting all of my effort and energy into my friendships, my community, my family, my health as well, and my relationship with myself, which like is getting, will I cry talking about this? Who knows? Find out. My relationship with myself is getting to a really, really great place. I feel like I understand myself so well. Someone asked me yesterday, what are your toxic traits? And I was like really thinking about it, and I'm like, I really think I have worked through almost all of them. I actually don't think I really possess any like toxic traits anymore. I think I am mentally still stuck in the space of like, oh, my autistic traits are a problem. But that's, going to take time and effort to get to a place where I'm like, that's just who I am and part of what I struggle with. Yeah, but so cool to think about like, wow, I've come so far in my journey with myself, because I used to struggle so much. Yeah. So toxic traits. What toxic traits does Haley have? Yeah, I really don't think I have many. I can be a person that gets a little jealous. I've seen that in relationships, but it's never to a point where I'm controlling, and so that's why I don't think it's toxic. I think it's okay to have a little bit of jealousy and be like, oh, But I also think if you're with the right person, they won't make you feel jealous because you trust them. And if you don't trust a person, I think that's often where jealousy comes from. So it speaks more to the relationships I had than it does, I think, to like my character. Dab on the haters. So yeah, doing so much reflecting and truly a lot of reflecting on like how far I have come. I've been reflecting on the different relationships I've been in my life, and like I feel like every relationship I've been in has been like a step up from the last, starting at like the worst relationship that I was in. The 2 relationships before that were like perfectly pleasant and totally fine, but then we just like hit a real low point. I watched something on Reels today that was like, the bar is in hell right now for what we expect from men, because truly, like, oh my God. I'm trying not to speak poorly about anyone. But like, I feel like every man I have ever dated, if I'm like, hey, I need reassurance, I need you to give me some words of affirmation, and they're like, that's too much, why would you ask that of me? Is like, that's so bare minimum. It's insane. And so I'm looking for a girl with empathy. Real cute, big butt. That's on my list. Yeah, anyways, so recap, Haley's been good. She's not dating. She's loving her life, feeling really good about her friendships, excited for some trips that are happening this year, and also so filled up by the love that I receive online. I so appreciate it. And like, I often feel like when I have been making videos in the last 6 months, some of them aren't coming across the way that I want them to, because I have loved making videos where it kind of feels like I'm on FaceTime with you, where you and I are just like chatting and Haley just fucking rambles on and on and on, because this is how I talk to a friend. This is how I sit down and I'm like, let me tell you about all this stuff. And you're like, great, Haley, this is great. And I feel like a lot of my videos kind of strayed away from that for a while, where I was trying to up the production quality. I was trying to make, better videos, or things that I thought made a video better. But I'm realizing I think people actually just really appreciate me just sitting down and like chatting, because I know for myself, something that YouTube did for me a ton was make me feel like I had people to turn to or listen to or feel supported by, even if it was just watching their content. And I would love to provide that to other people. And I do genuinely reply to as many DMs as I can and try to interact with you guys as much as possible, because you're wonderful people and you matter and you're important to me and I love you, and here's a kiss. Mwah. In other exciting news, by the time I have posted this video, I will have a roommate. That's exciting. I've kind of gone back and forth for quite a while now, trying to decide if I wanted to move to a smaller place, or at the time I was considering moving in with a partner, or like if I wanted to potentially get a roommate. And the reason I was considering it was because I worked very hard to get into this space and be able to live here by myself. And I was really proud of myself for being able to achieve that. And at a certain point, it started to feel unnecessary. I live in a 4-bedroom home, and it's a little bit like, why, Haley? And the truth is, a year and a half ago when I moved in here, it was very much an ego metric for me. It felt very much like I was trying to prove to everyone around me, one individual in particular, that like, look at me, I can do it, and this is the proof that I can do it. And after living here for quite a while, I just kind of started feeling like, oh, this is unnecessary. I don't need to prove myself to anyone, and where I live doesn't matter. And so I wanted to downsize into something smaller, because this space is a lot to take care of just for me, as you can see as I clean this space. But as I started considering moving, I was like, but I love this place. I love it so much. It has been such a safe haven for me. It's been such a place of comfort. I've really truly built this home to be for everyone. Anyone can come here and feel accepted and loved and like comfortable, and that's really the goal of this space. And I didn't want to give that up just because I felt like I had to. It was also the fact that like I am so used to moving every single year. I have like not stayed in a place. The longest I've lived in a place has been 2 years. And that was like wild. Every other place was a year. And so it's been like move. And I think when I hit a year at this place, it was kind of that thought of like, well, that's just what you do, Haley. You move. And I'm reconsidering that because I've put in a lot of work this year specifically to build community, build friendships and all of that. And I finally feel like the city I live in has a sense of community where for the 6 years that I've lived here, 6 or 7 years that I've lived here, it's been like not really a sense of community here. All my friends have lived somewhere else. My family doesn't live in this city. But I finally like started to build that. And so I didn't want to get up and move the second that I had built that. So yeah, I have a roommate coming to live with me. Maybe I'll convince her to come into a video. We do not know each other. We met through like a person of interest. Like we both know somebody that connected us. She seems really cool, really nice, really calm, really chill. And I feel like that's gonna be really helpful for me as a neurodivergent person. It's really helpful to live with somebody because one, there's then that expectation of like, somebody else lives here, and so I need to keep the space tidier. It's like body doubling mentally, not even just physically. So that's gonna be really nice, but it's also gonna be nice to have social interaction more frequently because I am a hyper extrovert, hyper. I could be around people almost 24/7. And so there are many times that I'm like, I just want someone around me while I do other stuff. And I don't feel like I have that right now because when a friend comes over, it's because we're hanging out. If I'm going somewhere, it's because we're hanging out. We're like doing something, I'm entertaining or whatever. So having a roommate would be really nice. If she's like cooking in the kitchen and I'm watching a show, that is so regulating for me. And that's something that I lost when leaving my last relationship. And I knew that I was giving that up. And it was good that I did, but it's something that's very hard to replicate in day-to-day life. So I am excited to have that. And it just feels kind of like the universe is like aligning for me at the moment because went through my breakup. My roommate has also just gone through a breakup. One of my close friends also went through a breakup. Another girl I know went through a breakup. It's like everyone's going into like hot girl summer, which is so fun. Yeah, but I'm just like, everything's aligning. Everything's working out. Everything's making sense. And that's just a really nice feeling. This is the part of cleaning though, where I'm like, this isn't giving me that much dopamine anymore. And it just feels like a task now. And I'm trying to avoid doing it. So what I like to do in these moments is set specific and clear goals for myself and then think of a reward afterwards. So I hope you guys like this style of video. It's so different than anything I have ever posted. So please tell me if this was interesting or fun, or if you would like to see some changes. I think it would be really cool if I put out a place where you guys could ask questions and I could just sit and answer a bunch of questions and in the background do a bunch of cleaning as well, so that you're getting the visual cues of like productivity, or maybe it's me sitting at my desk and working, but you also get the audible like dopamine input from somebody talking and whatnot. So let me know, because I appreciate and love your feedback more than anything in the entire world. And if no one yet has told you today, I am so proud of you for putting in the work to yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. So it's pretty fucking cool that you're doing it for you. Love you so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Ow, my knee hurts so fucking bad. Let's see, my knee hurts so fucking bad. Okay, slay.